Welcome to the deep dive. Okay, today we're tackling something fascinating from your sources. Can your phone, the one right there in your pocket, actually do the job of dedicated health gear?
Yeah, specifically, we're looking at heart rate variability, or HRV, tracking using just the phone's camera. We've dug into reviews, especially around the Welltory app.
Right, so the big question for you is this a genuine shortcut for tracking your health day to day, or maybe just wishful thinking?
Well, the initial verdict from the sources is honestly not bad at all for spotting trends.
Not bad at all. I like the sound of that. But okay, the how seems really important here.
Definitely. Understanding the mechanism is key.
So let's dive into that. How on earth does a camera, the thing I use for selfies and food pics, read my heartbeat?
Okay, so it uses something called photoplethysmography, PPG for short.
PPG. Sounds technical.
It does, but the idea is actually pretty straightforward. You just put your fingertip over the camera lens in the flash.
Uh-huh.
The phone then shines the light and watches how that light reflects back off your skin. And here's the clever bit. Every time your heart beats, there's a little pulse of blood into your finger capillaries. That changes the color just slightly.
Ah, so the camera picks up those tiny color changes.
Exactly. It detects those subtle shifts in light absorption and uses them to figure out the exact time between each heartbeat.
Wow. And you mentioned this isn't some brand new experimental thing.
Not at all. It's basically the same core tech you find in, well, loads of smartwatches and fitness trackers these days.
Right. Okay, so it's taking those timings between beats,
Yeah,
and the app does the math.
precisely. The app takes that raw interval data and calculates those standard HRV metrics we hear about, like RMSSD and SDNN.
RMSSD, SDNN.
Yeah, those always sound a bit like alphabet soup. What do they actually tell you? Good question. So RMSSD, that one's really about the short-term changes, beat to beat. It reflects your rest and digest system, the parasympathetic nervous system. Okay, the calming side. Right. And SDNN gives you more of a bigger picture, the overall amount of variability across all the beats measured. Together, they paint a picture of how resilient or recovered your nervous system is.
Which brings us to the million-dollar question. Accuracy. If it's using similar tech to a fancy watch, how does this finger on the camera method compare to, say, a chest strap, the gold standard ECG?
Yeah, this is where it gets really interesting. The sources say it actually comes pretty close. The raw numbers can be very similar to an ECG.
Very similar. That's
Yeah.
impressive for a phone camera.
It is, but there's a huge but.
Ah, knew there'd be a catch.
That similarity, it really only holds up when you are perfectly still, like
Yeah.
sitting calmly or lying down
Hmm.
under ideal conditions.
Perfectly still. So, like, I can't be fidgeting or checking my email while I do it?
Nope, not really. That's the main limitation here. This PPG method is incredibly sensitive.
How sensitive are we talking?
Well, think about it. It's measuring tiny changes in light reflection.
Mm.
So pressing your finger too hard, or maybe not hard enough, or shifting your weight slightly, even just having uneven light in the room. All of that can introduce noise.
So it could just mess up the reading completely.
Yeah, it can really throw it off. The signal needs to be clean.
Okay, that sounds tricky for real-world use then.
It can be. But this is where some apps, like Welltory that was mentioned in the sources, try to help.
How so?
They often include a quality check. After you take a measurement, the app might give you an accuracy score.
Oh, right. So it tells you if the reading was actually any good.
Exactly. If the signal was too noisy, it'll likely flag it and suggest you maybe try again. That feedback loop is pretty crucial.
Okay, that makes sense. So you get some quality control built in.
You do. Because good data in means potentially useful information out. Bad data in, well, it's just noise.
So let's bring this back to you, the listener. What does this mean if you want to actually use this for, tracking your health?
Right. We need to talk about the scores the app gives you, those stress, energy, health scores.
Yeah, what about those?
It's really important to remember these are Welltory's own calculations. They're based on those HRV numbers, RMSSD and SDNN, but the scores themselves are proprietary.
Meaning they aren't official medical numbers.
Precisely. They're not for diagnosing anything or replacing medical advice. Think of them more as helpful indicators, derived from their formulas, showing potential trends.
Trends. Okay, that seems to be the key word here.
Absolutely. The real value isn't in one single reading. It's about using it consistently over time.
So like measuring every morning.
That's the ideal, yeah. Find a consistent time. Maybe right when you wake up, before coffee, before checking work emails, before the day's stresses kick in.
And by doing that consistently.
You start to build a baseline. You can see how things affect your numbers. Did that tough workout yesterday impact your recovery? How about that poor night's sleep or that stressful meeting?
Ah, so you're looking for patterns over days and weeks.
Exactly. It makes the invisible visible. You start correlating your lifestyle choices with how your body is actually coping based on these trends.
Okay, so summing up, using your phone camera for HRV, using this PPG tech, it's actually a legitimate way to track trends.
Yeah, I'd say it's a pretty solid option for that purpose,
Okay.
especially if you don't want to buy another gadget.
But the big caveats are you absolutely need to be still during the measurement.
Crucial. Stillness is non-negotiable for good reading.
And consistency is everything. You need to track regularly to see those valuable trends.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Without consistency, the data points don't tell you much.
So phone HRV tracking can work for trends if you respect the process.
Definitely. And, that focus on consistency raises a really interesting follow-up question for you to think about.
Oh,
If consistent tracking is what unlocks the value in this tech data, what other simple, maybe non-tech daily habits like when you eat, how much water you drink, maybe 5 minutes of quiet time, might be worth tracking just as consistently to get an even bigger picture of your overall well-being and recovery? Something to connect the dots on for yourself.